to BizChicks TV. We're here to help you take the hassle out of your hustle so you can build a profitable business that's fun to run. Here are your hosts.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Tech Life Weekly with the BizChicks. I'm here with my fabulous co-host, Dr. Tachi, all the way from Florida.
Hello.
Hey, it's so good to have you in the house. Dr. Tachi is our media specialist. She is a professor at a number of universities in the area of media, and she runs a successful media company, Indie Soup. So with that, we want to get started. Dr. Tachi, I want to start out with sharing a couple of stories from Black history
Oh, I
because
love it.
it is Black History Month. So I wanted to touch on that. Let me see if I can pull up. Uh, do 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 do. Shall we start with Dr. Drew? Let's see. Nope. Let's start with this one. Do, 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 do. Let's go to presentation mode. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yes,
Okay, we're going to talk about Henrietta Lacks. Are you familiar with her?
definitely.
Yes, she is a woman who is behind the scenes of a number of successful um, developments in medical history because it's her cells, CELLS, that enabled medical research. So Henrietta Lacks was a young African American tobacco farmer, mother of 5 from Baltimore, Maryland. She was born in 1920 in rural Virginia. And so she lived a life marked by what? Resilience, family devotion, and everyday challenges faced by Black Americans in the Jim Crow South. So in 1951, at the age of 31, she went to seek treatment for cervical cancer at Johns Hopkins Hospital. And the bottom line is that they harvested her cells unbeknownst to her. And these cells from Henrietta were unlike any others that they had experimented on because they kept regenerating themselves. So her
Oh,
cells thrived and reproduced at an astonishing rate, doubling every 20 to 24 hours. And this was just a phenomenal discovery. And as a result, they became known as HeLa cells, HeLa cells. And they are contained in most research. So I want to talk about this. Oh, and the thing I wanted to mention was they were hardy in nature because they proved remarkably resilient to surviving shipping, freezing, and various experimental conditions that would ordinarily kill regular cells. And this is what made her cells so outstanding. So by the 1960s, these HeLa cells had become the standard in laboratories worldwide, launching an entire industry of cell culture research that continues to today. So here's some of the things that we have as a result of medical breakthroughs built on HeLa cells. Polio vaccine, okay? Cancer research, gene mapping, drug testing, the radiation effects on individuals when they are receiving cancer treatment. Uh, just phenomenal. So here's the
wow.
deal. Because her cells were harvested and used without her permission, the family never really benefited from it
Right.
until the 70s when her identity actually became public And even then, her family discovered the truth almost by accident because they contacted them. Because, are you ready for this? They wanted some more blood samples for genetic research without explaining why.
Look at that.
Okay. So this became a real crusade on the part of the Lax family. It says Henrietta's daughter, Deborah Lax, spent much of her life seeking to understand what happened to her mother and fighting for her family's story to be told. The Lax children grew up in poverty while their mother's sales generated billions of dollars in medical and pharmaceutical profits. They couldn't afford health care, even as HeLa cells contributed to treatments they desperately needed. So the family's tireless advocacy has led to meaningful changes in how medical communities approach consent, compensation, and recognition. In 2013, the National Institutes of Health reached an agreement with the Lax family, giving them a voice in decisions about access to her genetic information. So here's the modern impact. The Leaks family continues to advocate for ethical medical research practices and has established a foundation to support communities affected by medical research without consent. Wow. They have
Hmm,
harvested over 50 million metric tons of this woman's cells.
that's
Oh,
unfathomable.
it's unbelievable. It could go around the planet several times. Uh, Scientific papers, over 75,000 papers have been based on research using her cells. 11 Nobel Prizes have been awarded as a result of the research using this woman's cells. She has made an impact on treatments for hemophilia, herpes, influenza, leukemia, Parkinson's disease, and countless other conditions. And the COVID-19 pandemic saw a renewed use of her cells in vaccine development and viral research. So she went from obscurity in 1973 to recognition. And finally, we are able to establish that it is because of her genetic makeup and contribution to medical science that we stand on her shoulders. So, what have we learned from this? We've learned about, hey, we got to have some guardrails around informed consent.
Yes.
We got to have equity in medical research. Her case highlighted the persistent disparities in how minority patients are treated in medical settings, and it sparked ongoing efforts to ensure diverse communities benefit from and have voice in medical research that uses their contributions. Uh, that there should be humanity behind science, recognition, and compensation. Medical schools now routinely discuss the Lax case when teaching ethics, hello, and ensuring next generations of physicians understand the human cost of past failures and the imperative uh, necessary to do better. Oh my gosh. So let's honor her human story. Let's remember Henrietta. She was a daughter, a wife, a mother of 5 children who loved her fiercely. She enjoyed dancing, painting her nails, and cooking. Oh my gosh. She faced her illness with courage, never knowing that her cells would outlive her by decades, contributing to medical miracles she could never have imagined. So her story is both extraordinary and scientific. Mm. Say her name, Henrietta
Mhm.
Lacks. Reflect, consider the ethics of medical progress. Act, support equitable health care for all communities.
Amen. And thank you.
You know, it's there is so much, and I was doing some research about blacks in medicine, and who was that I was looking at the other day? I think it was Daniel Hill Williams. Oh, it was Charles Drew,
Mm, mhm.
and he actually was the one responsible for us having successful blood banks today. He developed a process to extract the plasma from blood and to store it in a way where it didn't have to be refrigerated and it could be shipped, because he basically dried it free, you understand, and then reconstituted it, which allowed us to send it overseas for decades during World War II. And we served thousands of lives in London during the bombing as a result of that. And
Yes.
and then he went on to develop mobile blood banks. He sent these trucks around communities to so people could donate blood in mobile. Who knew? And um, he became the first to oversee the Red Cross blood bank, was overseen by an African American doctor in 1941. He resigned in 42 because they wanted to separate white blood and black blood as far as who they'd give it to by race. And he said, blood has no race. It just has.
Uh, Interesting the way demons live throughout society. That's demonic. I do want to say something about Henrietta Lacks and all of this. Uh,
Mhm.
and people wonder why people of African descent have a mistrust of the medical community. There is a historic reason for that.
Especially with the Tuskegee
Yeah.
experiment, where
Exactly.
where they let all those black men die from syphilis so they could have a study. Yeah, I understand it, and in spite of all of that, we went on to create hospitals, and I just my I just salute people, because so much of that is buried, and they say so many negative things about blacks, particularly black men. And I think that we really need to let people know that they have saved thousands of lives. Daniel Hill Williams with his, you know, cardiac open heart surgery, and then Charles Drew with the development of blood banks. He went on to found hospitals, teach at Howard. It's just and they raised up a whole generation of black surgeons. We were doing heart surgery and teaching them how to do heart surgery. So
It's
my hat goes off to.
definitely, and it's not lost on me. It's so ironic. So you all know I went to Howard for master's and
Mhm.
PhD, and I was in the School of Communication. Well, the School of Communication is the old Freedmen's Hospital, which
Ah,
was the only black hospital in Washington, D.C.
exactly.
So on a daily basis, I was studying history where Charles Drew did surgeries, where it was amazing, and it was never lost on me that I had the opportunity to be amongst the ancestors. Listen, I'm truly, truly believing that the ancestors had a whole hand in making sure that I and all my other colleagues at Howard did well, because you truly stood on the shoulders of
Oh,
giants.
absolutely.
And that's at any HBCU, not just Howard. That's at any HBCU.
Because I went to school across the street from Meharry Medical.
Fisk,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm. So between Fisk and Howard, they just put out so many doctors
Yeah,
and medical technicians and nurses, and just went on to found hospitals because there was nothing there for us.
exactly.
So,
I have another,
mhm.
question for thought too. This happened to Henrietta Lacks. How many other Henrietta Lacks are there? This
I,
is just the person we know about.
I don't know, but there was something unique about her cells that they propagated and doubled themselves every 20 to 24 hours, whereas other cells just died. There was something unique about what was going on in her cells that allowed this to happen, because it wasn't the first time that they had tried to do this. You know what I mean? That they had
Yeah.
put cells in petri dishes and tried to grow them. But there was something unique about her cells, and these cells have gone to space. they, they have taken them everywhere to see how they would react in different conditions. And she survived it all. Guys, we stand on some big shoulders, even in tobacco patches. And we have a reason to lift our heads and celebrate Black History Month.
We have Fred in the house today. Hey, Fred.
Yes. Hi,
And
Fred.
Fred says the
Fred.
crowd rumbles and starts standing, and applause grows in volume when you are asking for the applause for this. So,
It's just really, really amazing. Thank you, Henrietta. Thank you so much.
so
Oh my goodness. So with that, we're gonna keep the party going. And who wants to go next?
well, I have TJ's stories. I can do my
Okay.
history, tech history, or we can do TJ's stories, y'all call it. Since TJ is not here,
Well,
I can
let's roll her stories and then let's get to you.
Okay, well, we're not rolling, I'm reading. So
Okay.
here we go.
Uh-huh.
Meta tests a standalone AI video app. Meta is testing a standalone video Vibes app. The company confirmed to TechCrunch on Thursday. Launched last September, Vibe lets you create and share short-form AI-generated videos and access a dedicated feed that displays AI videos from others. Think TikTok or Instagram Reels, but every video you come across is AI generated. Until now, the feed has lived in the Meta AI app. By making Vibes available outside of the Meta AI app, the company is positioning it as a more direct competitor to Sora, OpenAI's AI-generated video and social app. Vibe lets users generate a video from scratch, a remix video that they see on their feed, or remix a video they see on their feed. Before publishing, you can add new visuals, layer in music, and adjust styles. You can then post the video directly to the Vibes feed, DM it to others, or cross-post it to Instagram and Facebook stories and reels. Meta says collaboration and sharing are on the rise, with many Vibe videos being messaged to friends, which the company says mirrors how people use reels. Although Vibe has been free since its launch, Meta plans to offer freemium access to Vibe's video creation, with the option to subscribe to unlock additional video creation opportunities each month. Meta plans to launch these test subscription in the coming months. Okay.
I haven't seen this, then I don't do a lot of things over there.
I was wondering, I'm like, well, Vibes. I have not heard of that.
I hadn't either. I think she mentioned it quite a while ago, but I didn't pay attention to it because they shut down Vibe.
No, that was Vine, Vine.
Vine. That's what I'm
This
thinking.
is Vibes, Vibes.
I'm not feeling the vibes. Here's why. I'm not catching the vibe at all. Number one, you are asking people to now go to another app to experience this. And it's harder as we get more inundated with apps, for someone to say, oh, let me go download this. This doesn't mean no one will, but it's harder to get people to do. They want to see things in one app. And if I have to go someplace else to do it, I may not. Okay, so let's say people do go over there, right? Two,
Uh-huh.
it's shown people are, there's a lot of, as they call, AI slop or AI junk, and people are getting fatigued with that. How long do you think something like this, if it's all AI, well, and now I admit, because I really do enjoy AI, and there are some good AI products out there. There's also a lot of rubbish. So I'm wondering what the parameters are going to be around what type of content gets uploaded. Obviously, the normal things that would go for any type of video, but I'm wondering what they're going to allow, what they won't allow, when it comes to that. And people already, we've been inundated with these things because of Sora, because of all these other things. So that's another thing. 3, what is my nickname for them?
Who asked for this?
No, jack of all trades, master of none.
Master of none. So
Right.
old master of none is at it again, trying to throw spaghetti or rigatoni at the wall to see what sticks. And guess what? Even if it sticks for a minute, they're going to dismantle it, because they have never stuck with an idea long enough to flush it out, to bring it to fruition. They don't stick with things. If they see it, just okay, well, it just quietly goes away. They don't even make an announcement. You just notice one day it's gone.
Right. My take on this is, why don't they just roll it into reels?
Exactly. And Fred says AI spaghetti always sticks.
Exactly.
he says Gen Alpha will take it as normal. This is testing on Gen X, Y, and Z. Okay.
But they're trying to copy Sora. Okay, we already know what Sora does, and there is I don't think there's any other AI generated apps, well, at least that I know of, like Sora, where you can create and so they're trying to dip their toe in that water.
Well, I don't know, because Sora basically you give it a prompt and it creates a.
But that's what they wanted to do. Sora is all AI.
Yes, and what we're getting in ChatGPT, we're getting graphics, but we're not getting videos, are we? Okay.
No, because Sora was meant for video.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you're right. It is different. Okay. Yeah.
And okay.
So now,
whatever they like.
And I know, because TikTok is going away-ish.
Well, now, I think Fred had an interesting point. He said something about they're putting it on and AI videos and what did he say here? Here it is. And YouTube is removing the AI video channels and content.
Yep. Well, and that's actually a smart move by YouTube, because remember, they've always been a video first platform, and what's happening is that low quality type of AI video that's being put up there is challenging, or can be challenging to the other types of content that they're known for.
So they didn't want to dilute their brand.
It dilutes the brand. It definitely does. When you have other stronger, and that doesn't mean that you can't make a physically awful piece of video. You certainly can, and we see them all the time. The point is that it takes less effort now to make awful video with AI. You can quickly make rubbish, and you can quickly flood the market. And then what's happening also is you've got all these faceless channels that are only using AI content to put out there. So there's like no effort there, yet you're raking up lots of views. Now, does that in the grand scheme of things matter? From a money perspective, not necessarily, but fraud is always discovered at some point, and people want quality at some point. So somebody may not be wanting to sit there and watch a faceless channel where everything is AI generated over AI music. It just becomes too much at a point.
And then I think it goes back to value. What are you producing? Like, you could be telling a story of something and the story is really interesting. Do you understand what I mean? It's not just slop. This is an actual story, but you created the visual using AI. I'm thinking of the stories now where there's a story being told, whether it's a fiction or nonfiction story, the story is being told. People, it's like story hour and you're listening in, but the image is AI generated, the background music, the voice, but it's a story and it's not crap.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, because as you all know, I've been taking AI film courses for a while now, and so I'm in like my second cohort of doing this. And it's not easy. People think it's just a prompt. Well, no, you have to prompt it properly so that you get the visuals that you want. And what ends up happening is, there's something as the continuity. So you can't just go with a prompt, because now you have to generate it and put it back in to make sure that the characters are consistent, that the background is consistent. And even then, it still does what you want. And you get tired, you're like, forget it. This is just how it's going to be. But you're writing the script. You're doing things. So there's a lot of effort that goes into creating AI film and AI creative works, even like an AI music video. It's not as simple as people necessarily think it is.
Well, Fred has a comment here. He says, authenticity will be the goal. They will base a AI percentage use in content. And he's talking about YouTube, that is. And he says YouTube is starting to operate as a broadcast network. They will clean house.
And that's interesting that he said that, because definitely we already know that most people watch content, more people are watching content on YouTube as on TV than watch broadcast and cable on TV. So they're already there. They've already surpassed, or they're about to surpass, what, neck and neck with, I don't know why I can't remember right now. Comcast. In terms of, yes. So Spectrum is the next, I think the most amount, is the cable outlet that has the most amount of subscribers. If YouTube continues on this trajectory, they will surpass Spectrum. They're already neck and neck with Comcast.
And I think it is because with YouTube, we get to choose. We are not fed whatever's coming up. We get to choose, because I have YouTube TV for sports purposes, but you go over there and you're like, okay, I'm not watching anything of this except for the sports. Because it comes on at a certain time. Yes, you can do video on demand, you can record it or whatever, but I can go to YouTube, and go get it.
And you can go to a specific niche, like what Fred said here, in terms of what he's interested in.
He said, I got hooked on body cam, police channels, and ruined my Law and Order SUV.
Right, which shows that you can now, and the algorithm will reward you for that. Oh, you like these types of things? Well, let me show you more. I think I told you guys, there's some things that I have on YouTube that I wouldn't call them guilty pleasures, but I don't know that anybody else enjoys. Well, other people do, because they have a lot of views. So number one is wax melts videos. They're wax melts that you use for sealing envelopes, so sealing wax. So there are lots of channels. A lot of them are from like Korea and Japan, but they're all sorts of stamps and things, and they use sealing wax they create the stamp. So not just to seal envelopes, but they actually will take the different colors of wax and make whole like mosaics out of these things. It's so relaxing to watch because it's like ASMR. But then the other thing that I enjoy that is the opposite of ASMR is airline channels. And these are plane spotting, where they set up shop and they watch the different airlines take off and land. And they have the stats. They're like, okay, this is flight 462 coming in from Japan Airways. This is a 747. It is so interesting. And there are like thousands of people that watch at the same time. So that is a very niche thing. Not everybody's going to watch those. But if you like that type of thing, it exists.
And you're not getting that on Comcast.
Please.
Yeah.
It's like what your parents would say, this is what I made to eat, and this is what you will eat if you want to eat.
And Fred says wax smells like Dinah Ross did in Mahogany. But
I don't remember.
I don't remember that either.
He's
but
making a joke, y'all.
BBC has initiated placing their full broadcast on YouTube.
They have.
Waiting for something like this here. NBC, CBS, and
okay, you do know. Oh, they're broadcast on YouTube, not YouTube TV, because BBC is on YouTube TV already.
He says
But
it has
they're
initiated
not on
placing
YouTube.
full broadcasts on YouTube.
Okay, then we can get Death in Paradise on. Okay, shut up.
Yes, we can. I have gotten it.
Listen, they have, because here's the thing, that also cultivates a new audience beyond the UK. And for those of it, like I grew up on British shows, but there are many people who have not. So they learn to like and appreciate by watching, catching these things on YouTube. But, good luck with NBC, ABC, CBS, Ion putting their stuff on YouTube, because it's profit first. And I don't think they can see the bigger picture, but I could be wrong. I don't trust them anyway, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So, yeah, that really is interesting. I'll see.
Desmond is on Tubi. That was my favorite show.
Okay. I am not getting another app. They got Tubi, Howdy, such and such. And
Tubi is free, though.
No, is it really?
Howdy is not free, though.
Howdy is not free. And Pluto is free, but there are commercials, not to the extent of network commercials, but commercials nonetheless. Yeah,
I do commercials.
I'm okay with commercials, no problem.
I'm good.
I have an issue with the drug infested commercials.
Oh, well, I just turned the sound off. I'm not.
Like, can we just get to the program? Okay. Anyway, let's go to the next story. Substack.
Okay.
Substack confirms a data breach affects users' email addresses and phone numbers. The newsletter platform Substack has confirmed a data breach in email to users. The company said that in October, an unauthorized third party accessed user data, including email addresses, phone numbers, and other unspecified internal metadata. Substack specifies that more sensitive data, such as credit card numbers, passwords, and other financial information, was unaffected. In an email to users, Chief Executive Chris Best said that the company identified the issue in February that allowed someone to access its systems. Best said that Substack has fixed the problem and started an investigation. Substack did not say how many users are affected. The company said that it doesn't have any evidence that the user's data is being misused, but did not say what technical means, such as logs. It has detected evidence of abuse. However, the company asked users to take caution with emails and texts without any particular indication or direction. Okay. And Fred said data breach is commonplace.
Yeah,
That's
it
why
is.
if you don't want it out there and you don't want nobody to
I love this. And he says, look, I can, you know what? That's
suspect.
like going to the candy store. You get the candy bar. You're about to eat it. You say, you know what? Do you want me to tell you some protection? Because last week we had an incident, and for $1 I can cover you. You
Yeah.
Wow.
know, to protect you
But
from my stuff, protecting you from my stuff that I'm selling you. Okay, come on, people.
but the data breaches are common.
Hmm.
And my thing is, don't put nothing out there that you don't want nobody to see.
Well, the thing is, my standard is, look, if it's something that you can't do in front of your mom, the church, or family members, you might not want to share it.
And then whatever your logins and stuff is, make sure it's something that like you can do the Apple where your email is hidden, right? And it's some obscure something. Just be mindful, because there's been data breaches by T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T.
Don't you love those data breaches where you get the letter that says 2 years ago we had a data breach?
Like,
and then their compensation is rubbish. It's like, we're prepared to offer you a month of data protection and I'm like, it needs to be a year, and you need to compensate us, because the thing is, your data is the new currency, and it is so valuable, and you all are treating it like it's not. How in this, I understand data breaches happen, but you all are too loose with the information, way too loose with the information.
Now, I'm setting up something for our business, and it's something called A2P. In order for us to send a text message out or whatever, we have to go through this rigorous. This is how we have people opt in. This is what we say when we opt in, and to protect people's data and stuff. How come, if we had to go through all that, this is not caught ahead? Do you understand? If every business has to go through this, I know the hackers are trying to hack.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead, Dr. Taji.
The thing is, in my estimation, these companies are woefully underprepared to deal with security. They probably have 4 people that are doing the security for all of this, because they don't want, number one, companies don't want to spend any more than they have to. Number two, they think it's a job. Oh, this is, automated or whatever. Only a few people can do this. So they're understaffed. They don't have enough people doing it. And I don't know that it's staffed round the clock, depending on who it is. For some of these people, it's a 9-to-5 job. So this is the problem here. Number one, that they don't treat our information with the reverence and respect it deserves. And number two, you don't have enough people working on these in these IT departments. We've all worked for places before where there's an IT department. Anytime you call, it's the same 2 people that come out, because they don't have enough people. And those are the only those 2 people and a supervisor. That's it.
That's why you got to put a ticket in so they can take them in order.
Exactly.
And Fred said $32.33 in this national court settlement.
You see that nonsense?
And then he said it's 4 people in India.
Exactly.
4 people in India on a 486 CPU in DOS.
Exactly. And they're in a place, many of these places have power outages. So they have a power and rolling blackouts.
And it's like, well, I can't get through to support.
There you go.
Yet the hackers are using top of their line
Oh, the hackers are on their job 24/7 because they're making money based off of the last hack job that they did, so they can afford the top of the line. It's really despicable.
Well, the deal is this. It's no different than any other crime. My dad used to say locks are for honest people because, criminals got tools. They come equipped. I mean, what you gonna do? You do the best you can. Because even what was that? Is it crowdsourced that's supposed to be protecting people or something? And they had to break in and, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so just proceed until apprehended as far as trying to secure your data.
Yeah. Fred says, no, the companies hire the hackers to scare you.
That too. That too, to push you into one of those data protection plans. I
Yeah,
wouldn't put it past them.
but that they did that when you were on a PC or something. Oh, you have malware. You can download this software and we'll help you. And then you pay for the security to undo what they put on your computer.
It's just so much easier to be good. I don't understand it. This is a lot of effort.
It's easier, but is it profitable?
It is not. But I always say this is the same thing as, like I always said, I can in some ways understand where this comes from, but I don't understand drug dealers. Why would you want to live where you're always looking over your shoulder and you can't be? So yeah, you're driving a G-Wagon, but you with bulletproof glass because you always have to look over your shoulder. It's the same thing with this. Yeah, it's profitable, but you live in the shadows wearing a black hoodie, hunched over a computer. You can't enjoy.
Oh.
I gotta have all these different names, and a friend says Windows was the worst. Dell was hell.
It was. It really was.
And we're not supporting Dell now anyway.
Yeah, look, I'm not doing PC, so there's that. Fred said you can't make money if it works. Keeps everything broken and profits off the repairs. That's true. And now it's a shame, but I just want to get on my computer and work. I don't want to have to fix it. I don't want to have to do Control Alt Delete. I don't want to do all that. I just want to.
It's the same thing with, Apple. And yeah, I'm in the Apple ecosystem, but your dongles and your peripherals are pure trash, basura, because they break every 5 minutes. It doesn't matter how you wrap them or whatever. The power cord will fray and all of these things. So I'm like, how do you have computers that are worth upwards of $3,000 and the simplest thing you can't make? We had a 1980 something computer, and that if I plugged it in, it would be fine because that cord was still intact. This makes no sense in 2025 in the year of our Lord, or 2026 in the year of our Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, people need to get their games together. Y'all ready for some tech history?
Sure.
Okay. Those are Dr. Tati. I was going to call her Dr. Tati. PJ's 2 stories.
Mm-hmm.
Fred got comments over there, by the way. That last one, while I switched.
Okay, let me see here. Do we see them? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong place, Fred. I apologize. It's this here. Control Alt Delete. Laugh out loud. I switched over to Apple during COVID. All Apple and wonder why I took so long. Yeah, I know the feeling. Yes. Let's do tech history, he says.
All right. And I'm playing with the new tools they got over here, Terry. And,
okay.
They got, what is the teleprompter? Let's see. So this week in tech history, the week of February 2 through 6. I think I need to, okay. February 3rd, 1944. I like to do some blacks in tech history. Charles Henry Turner was a pioneering scientist whose research in behavioral science laid the early groundwork for how intelligence and problem solving are studied. His work influenced how learning systems are analyzed. Behavioral research is foundational to AI, robotics, and human computer interaction. Modern machine learning borrows heavily from early behavioral science. Okay, why this matters now is because AI did not start with computers. It started with understanding how learning works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tech then made history this week. February 4th, 2004, our friends, the Master of None was launched. Facebook was launched in 2004 by Mark Zuckerberg from a Harvard dorm room. And the impact changed how people communicated globally, created modern social media economy, reshaped marketing, and on and on. And pausing for just a moment, he did what he's always done, borrowed somebody else's stuff, because that wasn't originally his.
Borrowed?
Oh, I'm being nice, Dr.
Okay.
Because he had to go back and pay the people who he stole it from.
So we got another ethics lesson going here, but go ahead, ethics.
Right, but okay, what did you say, Terry? How you do one thing is how you do everything. So that's how he's done the entire Meta system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Buy it or steal it, or buy it or borrow it from somebody else. Okay.
Or just imitate it. You notice, like when you look at what they do, it's after someone else has innovated, they copy it.
Right.
Oh yeah, we got that too.
Yeah.
And we don't care. Okay. I was going to talk about Vibes. I'm like, I never heard of Vibes. Don't think I want to hear of Vibes, but whatever. Amazon was founded February 5th, 1994 by Jeff Bezos, and initially it was called Cadabra.
Mm-hmm.
So it reinvented retail and logistics, normalized online purchasing, and built the backbone for cloud computing through AWS.
Mm.
So the lesson, thinking, start small, think long term. February 6, 1958, ARPA is created. This is the precursor to the internet. The U.S. Department of Defense formed ARPA, which later became DARPA.
Mm-hmm.
This led to the ARPANET, which became the foundation of the modern internet. And it enabled global digital communication. So if they had that, if they'd have stuck to whatever they were doing, maybe they would be better off than where they are now.
Perhaps.
It depends on who's sitting in the seat, right? Okay.
All of that.
Yeah.
So tech making history, AI agents are replacing task switching. AI tools are now handling email responses, managing schedules, drafting documents, supporting customer service. This reduces cognitive load and decision fatigue. Business are shifting from using AI to operating with AI. Mm-hmm. So AI is being embedded into CRMs, accounting tools, marketing platforms, and internal operations. So, I just made the screen
really interesting, isn't it?
Large. And I was like, oh, I can't see anything over there. This is making the move is going from experimentation to dependence. So we are definitely at a pivotal point, because stuff is being AI is being integrated, although it's always been integrated in the stuff. We just now figuring that out. Access to tool is no longer an advantage. Direction and follow through are. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Consumer tech news. AI-powered digital pets are gaining traction. Consumers, particularly young adults, are adopting AI-powered virtual pets designed to stimulate companionship without the responsibility of real animals.
Whoa. Okay, go ahead.
These digital pets respond to user interaction, adapt personality traits over time, okay, and provide emotional engagement through conversation and behavioral modeling.
Wow.
Okay, so
Remember the creepy cat?
Creepy cat?
yeah, the one whose eyes
Oh,
were
yeah.
he was like a clock. But
no, not the clock. The one that was in the house and it told you what your friend was doing and some
oh
okay,
my
it was
gosh.
just real creepy.
No,
It
but
has evolved.
let me show you. Let me share this. Let's see if this is what you're talking about. Is this what you're talking about? See these little these little AI robotic pets. Is that what they're talking
all
about?
of these new smart bio, smart robot dog and all that
Okay.
they yeah, but I think the one the kids are into, I need to look at something. Older kids are maybe the older kids.
I know we bought my 5-year-old granddaughter a little dog, and when you pet it, it's, it it barks. It doesn't monitor anything. You know what I'm saying? But it reacts
We know
to
of.
yeah. How about that? That you react to touch. We didn't hook it up to anything on the computer, so I'm praying that this not spying on us. But
But this is not a new thing.
no,
They've had these virtual pets forever where you had to take care of them and feed them and that type of thing. This is just now an addition of AI. The other ones didn't have that.
yes,
Right. And there was something
here it is. Robot cat, my realistic robot kitten interactive kitty toy. Walks,
no,
barks,
I'm talking about there's some that talk to you.
that are digital, right? Didn't you say digital?
They're all digital, but one of them, let me look at this story because
Okay.
it was from was it
Digital pet. Okay.
Also, G is in the house.
Hey G, welcome G.
Digital pets.
Yeah, so
Wow.
this is it was really interesting and I need to because there was more to the story. I'm just doing
Uni, your first AI bestie. He's a
no.
companion.
Okay,
He's looking weird. But yeah,
Wow.
these AI companions, the ones I'm looking at, you can pet them. They got a little fur over them. Realistic dog interaction. Okay.
And if TJ was here, she would probably be all for this because right now in New York, people are not picking up after their pets with all the snow. They're not picking up after their pets. So I'm sure she would be all for these digital pets. I'm convinced not everybody needs a live animal.
It's not capable. Here's the other thing. One of my family members had to put their pet down the other day because they had gotten so weak. And so I don't know what their choice will be the next time. Because it was very traumatic for them to have to, sever that relationship.
Right. But then again, do we need to not deal with the circle of life? Is that
the emotions of life? Yeah,
but we're not supposed to not deal with them.
True, but for some people it can be too traumatic. Or like, I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah. So this is a story in the Washington Post. Young people in China have a new alternative to marriage and babies, AI pets.
Babies I can see, but marriage? or marriage leading to babies.
Marriage leading to babies.
Okay.
It sounds like they're going down the same road as Japan. You know, that the ladies in Japan are just not trying to be married. And they're trying to induce giving them all kind of incentives to get married and have children because their population is going down so rapidly.
Well, that could be a commentary on the population of choices that people have, because it's the same thing here.
Mhm.
Well, yeah.
So anyway, AI powered virtual pets. And I remember we did the story when the ones where the people were elderly and they'd had the little cat in their lap and it purred like a cat and they didn't have to clean up after the cat, and there's no fur all over the house like a dog.
And they could share the pet from patient to patient. Yeah. And GR says, look, pets are work. That's true. Most parents know that a child with a pet is really them caring for them. Yeah, exactly. When you sign up for that, you know, after the first week, you're going to be walking the dog. Imagine companies being able to make a robot of your dog. Okay. Oh, clone your dog. Yeah.
Okay,
well,
so here's the thing. If you have a German Shepherd, as I do, that's a big robot. It's not a Chihuahua. I don't do dogettes. I do dogs.
Dogettes. Dogettes.
So in order to do, that's a different thing. You know what I mean?
And yeah, GR says pet loss is hard, and it is hard.
Yeah.
And they go on to say, I would love an AI pet. I'm not trying to walk any animal, clean up behind an animal, not doing it. I'm with you, girlfriend. Let's see. Listen, I would name a dog Terabyte. I love that. Girlfriend. That was good. Yes, so this whole pet thing.
It's a thing.
It's a
and
thing.
it is, you know, the creepy cat thing that we saw, it's gotten better because that creepy cat was real creepy. So there are also personal care tech advances following CES. They showcased beauty and personal care devices like AI-enabled hairstyling tools that had smart sensors in it to adjust the heat and flow when you're doing your hair.
Wait, what?
Yeah, in the hair dryer, there's AI that can tell you what the temperature is depending on for your hair, whether it's too high or too low. You know how they. Okay. Let's see. Samsung confirms a mid-range smartphone launch. It confirmed a February launch of its Galaxy F series smartphone targeting value-conscious consumers. The device focuses on enhanced camera performances, AI-assisted photo and video features, competitive mid-range pricing. So what does that mean? Mid-range, because on the high end, it's already $1,200. So mid-range is $600.
Maybe somewhere in there. Yeah.
So early February tech deals are driving consumer buying. Retailers are already offering February consumer tech discounts, including deals on smartwatches, wireless earbuds, televisions, home and charging accessories. The trend is showing that consumers are still upgrading tech, but with a strong focus on value and timing. And that's your week in tech history, tech making history, and consumer tech, and Blacks in tech.
So before we move on to Dr. Tasha, I just want to share these last comments so that they're on the right topic. It says, Fred says CES, Consumer Electronics Show, showed customer service robots, and Miss Houston thinks that's cool. Mid-range. What's mid-range? Mid-range. Samsung was supposed to make phones based on ad viewing use. Watch ads, reduce your bill. Oh, come on.
Okay, you know what? That is okay. I was helping this lady. She wanted me to help her get. She was trying to buy a vacuum cleaner, and so I went on to her phone, and before I can even get to the, she has an Android phone, so before I could get to the
Search.
no to the dialing a phone number,
Oh,
an ad popped up. I was like, "What the heck is happening?" I'm coming into her phone and the ad pops up before you can do anything on the phone. I was like, this is ridiculous. So in order to use my phone, I have to now watch an ad, or if I can't make a call, I got to watch an ad before I make the call. I was like,
God forbid you had an emergency.
I am done. I was like, what is this? No,
Wow.
I'm sure she could have turned it off.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't know how. I'm like, okay, no.
Wow.
So Fred, I don't lower my bill. Just leave it alone. I'll keep it.
Okay, well, Dr. Tachi, are you ready?
I'm certainly ready.
Okay, put you in the seat.
Absolutely. So there are lots of things going on in the world of media, as you know. Let's start off with the Washington Post layoffs. I'm sure you ladies know that they are laying off about 1/3 of their staff, their news
Unbelievable.
Staff. Unbelievable indeed. I was just on Dr. Vibe's show this morning talking about this, and he asked about the implications, and I said that lots of implications. Number one, other copycats, right? Other new legacy newspapers, news organizations doing the same thing, even though we've seen this happening in media where there have been layoffs. This is not anything new to this extent, yes, but we've seen this happening. But also, it changes that amount of reduction in staff, changes what you report, how you report it, and who reports it. So this definitely has an effect on what is going to be reported. Now, according to MSNBC, an ex-Washington Post chief is saying that Bezos's fear of the person occupying the White House is what motivated the layoffs. So let's go back. They announced these layoffs, and it affected almost every corner of the newsroom. And the Washington Post is 150 years old, in case you did not know. So that's 1/3. They eliminated entire departments, including the sports desk. So no more sports.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I don't know that, again, it's been a long time since I lived in DC, but and obviously there are sports teams and things there. There was sports reporting, but that was not the major thing. It's the seat of government, right? So the emphasis and attention was not there. It was on other things rather than sports. So let's go back. In about 2013, I think, is when Bezos acquired the Washington Post. And there was such optimism because that meant there would be resources, or they thought that meant there would be resources, right? And he came and promised that there would be more resources for reporting and things like that. So I think there was like optimism when that happened. But according to lots of people that have been spoken to, this represents a turn back, right? They said it suggests that this paper, with a deep heritage and historically high ambitions, is going to retreat. And it's a terrible thing to see a news organization that's been so important to the history of this country retreat the way this newspaper is doing. And as I said, they're reporting that he once championed the importance of having a free press, and defended the Washington Post mission.
But that was when we had a free country.
Correct. Exactly. And this is exactly what this is. So when the occupant of the White House came into office again, he, as we know, has had a vendetta against journalists, and he promised vengeance against his perceived political enemies. So what does that mean? That if you are a paper, even normal human beings will be like, okay, that's the truth or whatever. But this one will sue you and seek to obliterate you and
Yes.
arrest you, as we've seen this past week or last week, right? So
Yes.
this is a different game that they're playing, and there is this fear, which to me is ridiculous, because the money is what generates power, and these billionaires have an inordinate amount of power. You don't have to bow down. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't
Mhm.
make any sense to me. So once he got into office again, I guess there's been this thing to placate. And here's the Washington Post traditionally has always had very aggressive reporting when it came to the White House, when it came to Capitol Hill, et cetera, et cetera. And this person in the White House is no different. So this is why there's been this retreat back.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that part of that includes getting rid of people so you can't, quote unquote, report on these things.
Mhm.
How stupid is this? And I say that without love. So that's what's happening at the Washington Post. There will be fallout that continues to happen. We'll watch what happens with other papers, because again, it's not just about the Washington Post. It's about journalism as an institution on the
Yes.
whole. So it will be interesting to see what happens with other outlets because of this.
And there's some comments based on this story. G.R. Houston says, what's the point of having the Washington Post?
There you go.
And then Fred said, Bezos worked in the Post mailroom years ago. Didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Wow.
That either.
And then he said he will probably siphon off from the Post and create smaller news pubs. Stay tuned.
That's a great assessment, a great take.
And then G.R. Houston Jack says, yes, make it make sense to me. And clearly, if you don't report on it, it's not happening and it doesn't exist.
It's the head in the sand brand of journalism.
Mhm.
Absolutely. If we don't report on it and we get rid of the people who would report on it, then, but see, all you've done, look at God, because all you've done now is create mini silos of independent journalists who can go and report on this. And we all know that independent journalism is on the rise, and that is where people are turning their attention to get news about all of this. Please ask me the last time that I actually watched mainstream news or read mainstream news. I have not, because I don't trust them as far as I can throw them in Lake Okeechobee. I don't trust any of them. And so I have really turned my attention to the independent, because you guys know I've always been about independent, but I'm even more staunch in my position now, because we know for the most part that if you're independent, that you're probably not bought and paid for by a big corporation, right? So obviously, lots of people were not wanting to go independent before, because when you're independent, the thing is distribution, right? That's if you're an independent musician, an independent media maker, the thing is distribution. When you are aligned with a larger company, it is easier for you to get eyeballs because they have the share of distribution. But we have to stop being so lazy about waiting for somebody to distribute our things and do it ourselves. Yes, it takes a lot of work. Yes, you are doing most of the work yourself, but it is doable. The old paradigm is done, folks. I'm sorry. Legacy media, I'm not saying it's completely done, but the trust is not there. Corporate media and legacy media now has a trust problem that they have to contend with. If I don't trust you, I'm not going to even give you my eyeballs to make money off of me.
Could this be why Substack had a hack? GR says, look, avenues like Substack, YouTube, and others are creating direct to consumer viewer pathways. Yes, I do. I watch a lot of those independent news providers.
And to your point, I wouldn't put it. See, nothing surprises me anymore. So the fact that there was a very strategic hack on Substack where you see lots of journalists there, I would not be surprised.
Exactly.
I would not be surprised.
Okay, and then Fred says this. See, imagine Bezos or someone creating systems of hiring independent reporters, it would be disguised as local reporting. Hmm.
And see, this is why, and not to get too into this because I'll go to the next story, but this is why you, as an independent creator, have to be staunch in your independence, because it's really easy to get caught up. And this doesn't mean don't work with mainstream media. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I am saying that we put mainstream platforms, legacy media, corporate media on a higher platform than anything else. And to us, you've only made it, and your job is only important if your work is seen in one of these. And that is false. That is a non sequitur. It does
Mhm.
not follow. Does it follow that you'll probably make more money? Yes. Or that there's the propensity to make more money? Yes, right now. But as we see with independent media on the rise and direct to consumer, you have the opportunity to make money at all, because the majority of us will not ever be on mainstream media platforms. I know I'm good at what I do. Will you ever see me on one of those mainstream platforms? Probably not. I've tried to pitch what I do before, and they didn't know what to do with a digital show. Therefore, you showed me you don't know what to do with me. I'll do it on my own things.
Well, here's the other thing. I noticed that most of these reporters nowadays have law degrees because they know that lawsuits are coming from this administration. So a lot of them are former DAs, have worked in, the governmental system, whatever. So they know the laws, they know what's supposed to be happening. And also they have the capacity to represent one another.
That's true, but I don't think you have to be an attorney or
Or
a
you don't
lawyer to
have
do
to.
that. I think you just need to have a community of people that
Mhm.
includes attorneys, so that you can exercise your First Amendment rights of reporting the news.
Mhm, mhm. So Fred's got some comments over here, Doc.
Sure.
He says, I will share this. Imagine an independent reporter appears out of nowhere on TikTok, IG, or wherever. A platform's algorithm will highlight them on purpose.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, and I know what you're saying.
Yeah, target them. The trust in legacy media is at an all-time low, and the younger viewer gets most of their news from TikTok, IG, and YouTube. Yeah, yeah, I agree. It is rare that I will turn on the local or the mainstream stuff because I'm not over there on live TV.
And the ratings are showing this. I'm
Mhm.
sure we all know that the ratings for news come out overnight, and in the morning they come in and see who was number one, who was number two. Well, the numbers have been steadily dwindling over years, not just because you don't have younger viewers to replace the older, because it skews
Mhm.
older, right? Television
Mhm.
news skews older.
Yes.
Younger people are not watching television, and if they watch television, it's not your crusty, raggedy news show. So they have to figure out something, and they have not been successful, because I was just watching this today about the whole Netflix, Warner Brothers, Paramount thing. And it was really interesting the way this creator broke it down. The
Mhm.
fact that with Warner Brothers Discovery, they were leaning on legacy. This is a company that's 100 years old, slightly over 100 years old, and they were leaning on legacy. Well, in terms of this sale, right? You should sell it to us because we want to maintain the magic of movies. We want to have people that value the experience of watching art in a dark room, and that's why you should sell it to us. My friend, that's not enough. Beside, here's the thing: they did bid more
Mhm.
than Netflix did, but Netflix's offer was all cash, and cash is king. Okay, so their reason is like, basically, let's keep it in the family. This is what we do. Let's maintain the studio system. Netflix is something completely different. They are based on views, right? It is based on streaming something. So it's completely different. So there was almost this arrogance because remember when Paramount came back, they said, okay, Netflix gets it. But then Paramount came back with a hostile takeover bid and said, no, 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 no. We'll do this. Couldn't leave well enough alone. Okay, well, we lost. No, because there's an arrogance there of, well, we are part of the big boys of old Hollywood, and this is the way it needs to stay. Right? So your arrogance, I'm sure there's something in the Bible that talks about arrogance.
Oh, that pride is
spirit.
Exactly. There we go. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say with that. I don't know. I think we have more comments.
Starting with Fred has started continuing more like helping them make earnings. This is a form of paying them.
Yeah.
And then GR Houston Jack says, plus with them removing so many entertainment shows like soaps, game shows, talk shows, what is there to watch? News at 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's a reason why I don't watch. And then Fred said the key is bringing the younger people into the local news, and their crusty folks will not do this. I see the local news pushing apps, publishing more on YouTube, and setting up channels on streaming. And Fred, it's as if those Fred and GR Houston Jack were talking together. It's as if they don't want people to tune in.
No, they haven't realized that the audience has changed. They still do things the same way. If you listen, if I turn on the news, right, and I just happen to let it run, and then it runs, it's 5 o'clock or 5:30, and then it runs to 6 o'clock, it's going to be the same story.
It is the same story, absolutely.
It will be the same stories, right? It goes to 6 o'clock. And then the 10 o'clock news, unless something else happens, because nobody had the brilliant idea of, you know what, there are a lot of things happening. Why don't we focus this on this? It's the same stories. And the way it's reported. Here's what draws people in. It's the stories, but really it's the personalities. People will follow folks into a volcano if they rock with you, if they really like you. And there are so many examples that you can see on social media of anchors and reporters and newscasters that people really love and identify with, and they watch for them. That's what you have to do. You have to get people that are that know their stuff, but are also personalities, because it's about the people. It's not just about being informed anymore. So I'll say that. Okay, so off of that, and we'll follow this story for with the Washington Post as it continues to develop. I will say this: we all know that the whole thing with Minnesota and the church and the protests and Don Lemon covering it. We know that he and 4 other people were arrested, including journalist Georgia Fort, who was a local reporter in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, and they're including another activist and somebody, I can't remember all 4 of them. So they were all released, right? But they still face some charges. So this is an interesting thing. And I don't know if you saw Don Lemon when he was on Jimmy Kimmel, which was ironic, right? Because Jimmy Kimmel, not that he was arrested, but has gone through the same type of censorship thing. They're trying to squash and quell the voice, because both of them seek to speak truth to power. And again, whoever seeks to do this, the administration is not for. They're not friendly toward. Go ahead.
Isn't it interesting that they haven't come after Saturday Night Live?
You know, this is very interesting. Now, if you remember very well, in his first coup attempt in 2016, when he was put in office, he was very, remember when what is his name, the one that played him you know who I'm talking. The director of Rust. Someone help me.
Mm.
I'm seeing his face now. The actor.
Baldwin.
Baldwin. I was like, one of them is named Billy. Yes. So Alec Baldwin, right? So Alec Baldwin played him on Saturday Night Live during the first presidency, and he was not happy then. Now, of course, it wasn't like these calls that he was doing, because that was just a test run for this, but he was super upset about it. Oh, he's failed, he's a loser, and that type of thing. So thank you, Alec Baldwin. Yeah, so he did say something initially, but it's very interesting now where they're still, through their art, speaking truth to power. It's very interesting now that they do not, that nothing is being said to Saturday Night Live. Maybe it's because they're focusing on journalists right now, and the next wave will be comedians that do all of it, because they already came for comedy, late night comedy with Jimmy Kimmel and that type of thing. But there could be, more repercussions for comedy that is social commentary. We'll see.
Just
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's great. So there is a nonprofit that has committed $500K to Black media outlets after the arrests of both Georgia Fort and Don Lemon. So Onyx Impact is looking to invest in Black media, invest in Black. They have a campaign called Invest in Black Media, and they're going to fund Black storytelling, journalism, and media preservation throughout this year. And part of that was a response to these two journalists being arrested. And so what they're saying is that the survival of Black media depends on investment from Black people. And so this is why this is happening. So again, they launched a $500,000 campaign to help safeguard the future of Black media infrastructure. And this is going to be interesting to see how they're going to, because I don't even know really how this is going to happen. So this initiative is going to be a year long, and it's supposed to strengthen Black journalism across print, broadcast, and digital storytelling. And they're supposed to bolster the sustainability of Black media organizations. Again, I don't know what that means, how that's going to be used, what it's going to be used for, but I think that is very important. And what I hope is that more follows. So in addition to that, though, they're investing $75,000 in the archiving the Black web. So I think that's an initiative that's going to train students and media professionals in digital preservation, which is important. And they're also investing $150,000 at its Information Integrity Lab, which pairs Black digital creators with newspapers to expand reach and ensure accurate, fact-checked coverage. So good for them.
Yes, we have some comments over here.
Go ahead.
GR Houston says, look, if they were doing the right thing, these comedians wouldn't have any material.
Hello.
Okay. And she says it's like reading an article from The Onion every single day. Yes, it is. It's just always, oh my gosh, it's always something.
The Onion can just convert to a regular newspaper now, because nothing is a joke anymore.
They got enough content, don't they? And change is inevitable, she says, when we ever learn to adjust, we don't have to toss out the entire recipe. Just keep it fresh, because we were talking about the news, how the news, the story is different because it's 3. The story at 4 is different because it's 4. In other words, it's because of the hour that they're showing it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes, she says, The Onion is normal news now. Wow.
Yeah. So I only have a few more stories. There are lots going on, but I don't want to prolong. So let's talk a little bit about the anti-Melania, or as I say, malaria effect. So as you know, last week, or this past weekend actually, was the
Well, it
first
hasn't been
weekend.
that recent. It just seems like it's been forever. Go ahead.
It does. No, but it was that we this was the or last weekend, I should say, not this coming weekend, but last weekend was the
Premier.
opening weekend for the documentary Melania, or as I say, I call it malaria. So in response to that,
Hmm.
social media really talked up people supporting Becoming, which is Michelle Obama's documentary from 2020, I believe it is. So what happened is the call on social media was, in response to this being put out, let's all watch Becoming and bring it up in the ratings, and it worked. It
Okay.
it absolutely worked. So let's look at some of the numbers for this. So let me talk first about what they spent. I think I talked about this already, but if you don't remember, this is Amazon MGM produced Melania. Yeah. And Brett Ratner, who is a disgraced director in Hollywood because of abuse.
Sexual
Yep,
assault or whatever.
sexual assault and abuse, right, directed this. So it hit the theaters over the last weekend, right? January 30th through February 1st. It earned 7.1 million in its opening. However, and that was a little more, I guess, than people expected it
That's
to
more than
earn.
I expected. Go ahead.
Exactly. But okay, there are a couple of things at play here. They spent $40 million on it, in addition to 35 million
For
to
publicity, right?
market. Right. So we're
Mhm.
talking about at least 75 to 80 million, right? They also did things like I don't know who put the ads in the Craigslist, where they were giving tickets away and paying $50, but you had to stay through the entire thing. I'm
Wow.
quite sure there were people that were friendly to that side that also rented out some theaters. So there may not have even been people in the seats, but if you rent out the entire theater, you can say whatever you want about who was there
Mhm.
and how many people were there. So I'm actually quite sure that that's an inflated number, because this is them pumping money into themselves,
Mhm.
right? If you
Well,
have a bake sale and you buy all the brownies
all the cookies.
or all the cookies, and you said, "Hey, I made $250," but you took $250 out of your account to buy it, did you really make any money? So
Mhm.
I personally think that some of these numbers are inflated in terms of that, in lieu of that. So it earned, as I said, 7.1 million against what they spent. 70% of the audience was female, and 72% of all ticket buyers were septuagenarians, which means 70 and over.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I found that very interesting. Okay. GR says she walked away with 28 million. And then
Yeah.
Francis sold out, laugh out loud.
Exactly. And what's even
Oh.
more despicable, which is also, now again, we have to understand that some of the people that went to view the documentary were
Mhm.
also journalists. They were also going to see, what it was about, but
What is
that's
it
not the
really
vast
about?
majority. That was not the vast majority of people who were there, right? So it's telling that
Okay, here's my
go ahead.
question.
Go ahead.
It says what, GR says what, 70 and over? And Fred says in nursing homes. Were the guys in the nursing homes hoping to get a glimpse of Melania
I don't know. Well, it was mostly
in
women.
the early days of her modeling career?
Uh, I don't know, but that is their
Prison
sea
movie theaters.
their sea goddess, or whoever it is. So that could be it. But the thing is, it's really telling of, all right, you, aside from the people that were watching it for research purposes, you went there to support, and it was mostly women. So now you
Let them
already
tell
have
us.
a trust problem, and it wasn't us. It wasn't us going there to see it. So you already have a trust problem. And you add to the trust problem by supporting a despicable piece of work made by someone who is a sex offender. Okay, we see you not see you keep doing things, but then you'll want to get up and say, "This is not who I am. It is who you are." It is. So it is also very telling when you look at the people who support and go to you're saying it out loud. You don't even have to speak. We can see by the actions. Congratulations.
Well, GR says people really wanted to see a movie about an immigrant woman becoming the first lady. Man, please.
No.
Especially in light of all that's going on with immigration. Okay.
Right. And especially and it said that, these were largely obviously conservative people who
Mm.
tend to be in this day and age anti-immigration. So it's very interesting indeed.
What an oxymoron. How can you okay. I don't know
Well,
how you balance that. The first lady and anti-immigration, and you
you
go
have
see
to
a
lie to
movie,
yourself. You have
and
to
you
tell
go
yourself
see a
why.
movie. I don't know how you do that. Okay.
You lie to yourself
Oh, okay.
and you say it's okay, even though you know it's not. You suppress every piece of logic which follows you had to have had some in the first place. But even if you do, you have to squash and suppress everything that you know is right and then hide behind the cross to justify.
Wow. Well, GR says they won't even talk about her lack of speaking English, but it was never about speaking English. Correct.
No, it never was. It never was. This is a whole other conversation. Definitely. Definitely. Let me give you some of the numbers for Michelle Obama's Becoming. So it was made in 2020. And this was interesting because typically documentaries don't spike past the time
Mhm.
that they debut because you watch it once and you generally don't watch it again. It's not like a narrative film where it's like, oh, I can watch Coming to America every week and not get tired of it. So
Mhm.
it's different, right? I saw Becoming in 2020, but I didn't watch it again until this weekend. And I'm glad I did because I was like, what this was really interesting. Lots of lessons in this.
Mm.
So, viewership for Becoming rose more than 13,000% to
Mm.
47.5 million minutes viewed over that past weekend, January 30th through February 1st, up from just 345,000 minutes viewed the weekend before.
Mm.
So this is really interesting. And it shows that, more than just this was a support, yeah, of the documentary, but more so of her. And really, she is meaning Michelle Obama. She
Yes.
is meaning that this is also a support of democracy.
Okay.
That's really what this is all about. It
That
is
is
a call to be anti-fascism,
mhm.
which is what the other documentary represents for some. And this one represents a freedom, represents democracy, represents a time back to when there was sense in this country, that regardless of what people felt about the Obamas or the administration, say what you want, but that's what this was.
Mhm. Well, Fred says, oh, so that's why Trump posted the racist post on Trump social.
Yes, actually, because okay, number one, jealousy.
Mm.
Number two, an attempt to cut again black people down to size. So this just shows how imaginative and despicable and deplorable you are. You cannot, first of all, he can't fight with words because he doesn't have them. He doesn't have the grasp of them to use to do this. So instead of acquiescing and
Mhm.
saying, "Wow, there's something here," people, that the fact that it didn't make more than XYZ, he had to be on top. Well, whatever. Your breath smells like onions. That's basically what that was.
So GR says his jealousy knows no bounds.
Extremely jealous. Extremely
Wow.
jealous because and the jealousy is it's one thing to be envious and say, I wish that was me and have the ability for that to be you. He could never. They could never. That's the thing. So the jealousy lies in the fact that not only are they not that, but that they could never be that. And that's actually quite sad. So you have to reduce yourself to not it's not even just you're racist, it's childish personal attacks because you can't win.
How long? Woo, somebody say not long.
Listen.
Goodness.
So
Woo.
I don't know what what the things are going to do. We already know that it was taken out of theaters in South Africa. I don't even think it debuted in South Africa, but this is not something that went well around the world. And the biggest thing is it's a symbol for oppression, but also pretend everything else was equal. What is memorable about her and what is likable about her?
Exactly. And look at how he has damaged our reputation around the globe. Why would they want to see this?
Exactly, because
because she's the wife of the tariff maker. I don't know what.
well, and that's the thing. She is a representative of him. She, even though it's about her, it represents this administration. And
Exactly.
we've already done so much to alienate people.
Damn
Why
it.
would they, support?
Insulted
on
their
her own-
countries, try to take over their countries, just ugly stuff going on.
Right. But again, even aside from this, she's personality-less, which is not even a word, but I'm making it one. She doesn't have much of a personality. She's not likable. She's not relatable. People watch documentaries on people that they like, people that they can learn from, people that have interesting stories.
Yes.
She doesn't have any of those, and she's not a historical figure. So this was an ego project.
Well, I agree with GR. It was a bribe. They pretended it was a legit project for a week. It's okay if it goes to DVD, if it even goes to DVD. She was voted the worst first lady ever. I mean, just crazy. And that swagger, accomplishments, and genuine adoration for millions around the world.
Yes.
Displayed when Michelle did her documentary.
If you look, there is one scene where she's doing a book signing, and there are several people, as she's signing the book, and people are coming up in tears and saying, "You're such an inspiration to me." That is the level of adoration she has. And this is why people are like, well, we're watching Becoming again. And I mean, people need to take a look. If you are really emotionally intelligent, you would sit and say to yourself, okay, well, why don't people want to see this? Why is it me? Am I the problem?
You think?
Yes. Okay, if you like it, I like it for you. So that's what's happening with that. Everyone was on Michelle, on the side of democracy anyway, was trying to push people to watch it, and people are still watching it, and will be watching it throughout the week. So it started off with the weekend, but throughout the week, people were watching the documentary. So very good. We'll do one more, and I think that will be it. I do want to mention that there is going to be a Saturday Night Live UK. So yeah, so they've got a whole cast. They're going to launch in March on Sky, which is a UK network, And yes, Lorne Michaels is executive producing the British incarnation of the legendary NBC sketch show. So if you're in the UK and you enjoy Saturday Night Live, this would, now I'm interested to see, because I'm very used to British comedy, what the comedy would be like for a British SNL versus what we do here in the US. I'm interested to see that. Yes. And so finally, I'm sure you've heard the fact that we have a couple of cancellations, or a few cancellations coming. So if we know Kelly Clarkson, the Kelly Clarkson show, the daytime show, she is and it is ending this year. She wants to spend more time with her children. Her ex-husband passed away, and so she's wanting to spend more time with them, and that was the reason given for that. Additionally, the Sherry Shepherd show was canceled as well, and there are little grumblings or rumblings that Jennifer Hudson may be next on the docket. Now, as much as I love Jennifer Hudson as a singer and a performer, as a journalist, I don't think she asks the most.
You don't think she transitioned well into the talk show host thing?
Yeah, you are a celebrity singer. That doesn't make you a host. And I think this is the mistake. All of these, these shows, they've been doing it for years. You take a celebrity, and that doesn't mean because you are a celebrity that you cannot be a good host, but it is not something that comes intrinsically. You have to be at it. I think that she has not grown into the role. The questions she asks sometimes.
Wow, the comments are coming.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, Fred says, I tried to watch British Law and Order, and boy, and he says, Sherry, I knew because her producer left last season. And then it says, GR says, Jennifer Hudson is not a great interviewer. She said it's hard to watch at times.
Which is why I don't.
Hudson is cute. It was a cute show, but I never watched it, Fred said. GR says, and I'm watching clips on YouTube, so not even a full show. Jennifer Hudson, so be it.
So be it. And yeah, it's not canceled yet. This is just what's going to be rumored, but I'm pretty solid that that's going to be the next one in line. But with Sherry Shepherd, it's interesting with that. So I was having a
Fred says they need a Melania show. Go ahead.
No, that would be canceled. Well, maybe not if it's on the right network. Anyway. But I was having this conversation yesterday with my good friend and podcast partner, Kevin, and we were talking because, we talk pop culture and what's being canceled and all of this. And we talked about all of this. And he said, but the interesting thing is I'm surprised that they're not saying anything about the Tamron Hall show. I said, I have a theory. Would you like to know what it is? Tamron Hall is actually a journalist. She's been doing this for years, from when she was in California. So she understands how to interview people. That's number one. Number two, she interviews regular people that she got from social media, all of that type of stuff. So audience members are able to see themselves in these other people because they're everyday people as well. So she does have celebrities on, but that's not the bulk of who she has on. This is why she's been able to withstand. Now, that doesn't mean she won't be canceled next year, but she is the strongest out of all of the people that I've said now. All the rest of them are just celebrities that don't have any journalistic experience. And therefore, that's why Jennifer Hudson asks terrible questions. That's why she can't really do. This is why her and Kelly Clarkson, that's why they sing all the time, because that's what they do.
Well, why don't the producers give them the right questions to ask? Here, GR says there's a skill to interviewing, period. And I agree with that. And then Tamron Hall show. I never knew when it came on or what network. I know someone who was on the show.
Okay.
Fred. And then GR says, I was going to type type that, Dr. Tachi. Folks don't mind a fancy person here and there, but we're done with these celebrities, quote unquote.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Mhm.
especially in the age of social media, people are done with the untouchables or the people that don't want to be touched. Gone are the days of the old Hollywood where it's like, oh, you're a star, you can never touch them, or you can write into the network and never expect to hear back. Listen, we're used to live streams where we all talk, but listen, the way we are now interacting
Mhm.
with Gwendolyn and Fred, this is what people expect now. They expect to be paid attention to, they expect to be answered, they because we're investing time and it shows that we actually care. This is not the general typical way that media conducted itself, that legacy mainstream media conducted itself. I
Mhm.
don't have to answer you, right? They don't feel compelled to answer
Or
you.
I can pick and choose who I'm going to answer.
I can pick
Uh,
and choose who I'm going to answer.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Fred says this may open up opportunities to put them on streaming channels. He said, I watched the Hudson interview with the Dr. Pepper girl, and it failed. And CBS News is looking like these shows also not a good look. Hmm.
Now see, now J Hud, she put the Dr. Pepper girl on because I that's a direct result of what Tamron Hall does, because this is what Tamron Hall has been doing. And so they're seeing it's working for her and other people are trying to do it as well. But she, again, she has a finesse because she is a trained journalist and a trained interviewer. J Hud is not. And so anything that where you put people together that don't have the training together, but and then this the Dr. Pepper girl, she's not an usual guest, so she's probably not used to doing these interviews. That's a recipe for disaster. I don't know what else you want.
Yep. But Gwen says, I believe people want shows like Donahue and Oprah where you get feedback from the audience. That's the beauty of a live chat.
Mhm.
It says Gail and CBS News had the Dr. Pepper on first, I believe.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. They did have her on first, but I'm talking not like the morning news programs, more so the talk shows. I think
Hmm.
she was like the first talk show that she was on. Um,
And GR says reading questions off a card is not an interview. There's more to
exactly.
it than that.
So it doesn't matter if her people write the questions. This is, I mean, it's the same thing. I levy the same allegation as Shay Shay at Shannon Sharp. Okay, because he's getting more used to it and he's getting a little bit better, but he's not an interviewer and he says this. So I think we accept it from him because he admits, I am not a journalist, I am not an interviewer, I'm just a guy who does this. So we're not expecting journalistic excellence from him. We
Mm.
expect it from the other ones because you purported yourself to be this great interviewer, but it takes more than reading questions, as G said. And that's actually what I have for you. Fred is so right. Fred is so right with this.
He says video podcasting shows are killing these programs, and then they are, says Gr, and Shay is using the old Barkley movie. I'm not a role model.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. He's using that move. And the reason video podcasts are killing these other types of shows, the production on this. Listen, we all produce these types of video podcast type shows. It does not take a lot of money to do that.
Mm-mm.
You already have the equipment, you have the people, you can get the guests. This could be a cost neutral type of venture. They pump millions into these daytime talk shows,
Mm-hmm.
millions into these shows. We don't have to do all of that. So that's another reason the cost, it is no longer cost prohibitive to have a show.
There you go. Well, guys, we're going to wrap this up. GR says, yes, we do, Dr. Tachi. We're working over here. Okay.
Yes.
we and says, and Dion's show on Tubi is awful. I need podcast therapy and all and all the athletes.
Deion Sanders has
I,
a show on Tubi. I didn't know
I
that.
didn't know that. Okay.
But I mean, that's not saying a lot because everybody, never mind.
Okay.
Continue.
We're going to move on. Guys, we want to thank you for your time, for tuning in. Did you know that Netflix is doing podcasts? Okay.
Yes.
Deion does have a show on Tubi. So, yes, according to Fred. And okay.
Yes.
So we just want to thank you all for tuning in today for Tech Life Weekly. It's been a blessing having you here and being able to bring you up to date on what's happening in tech this week. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we want to remind you to follow Dr. Tachi over there on Indie Soup and also Mediascope. So let me show that. And also, we want to remind you that you can find TJ everywhere at Terry Johnson Online. And we would also like you to encourage you to follow us here on the channel at BizChicks and also on our website, bizchicks.net. We'd love to share with our community what it is you do and how you serve. In the meantime, remember, we're here to help take the hassle out of your hustle and help you run a profitable business that's fun to run. And we hope you've had a great time just like we did. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you so much, Dr. Tachi and Fran and all of our contributors. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Thank you for tuning in today. We trust you've learned something to help you build a more profitable business and take the hassle out of your hustle. See you next time.